Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Level Up with Naomi, where we empower and lift each other up. Happy weekend to everyone. Today's topic is really interesting and sometimes intriguing. Actually, intriguing, yeah. But as I've posted in the description, it can make you or break you. How you see yourself can actually make you or break you. Today's episode is entitled How We See Ourselves Navigating Body Image and Self Perception. So, for some of you who's been with me for the past, I think, 2 weeks now, you have we have the honor again to have my sister with me. And for those who haven't, let me do some introduction. So, my sister here, Janice and Robert, is a passionate educator with a deep commitment to empowering women who have felt marginalized, unheard, unseen, and undervalued, with a background in the beauty and fitness industry spanning several years. She listened to this, ladies, um, especially ladies, with a background in the beauty and fitness industry spanning several years. She has experienced firsthand the emphasis placed on external appearances over inner worth. This journey had led her to a profound realization that there's more to a person than meets the eyes. Okay, and she is dedicated to helping others discover their true selves and inherit worth bestowed upon them by a higher power. Okay, so Janice is a loving mom to two young men whom she treasures beyond measure. While her role as a mom is integral to her identity, she aspires to be more than just a parent or someone's daughter. Like all of us, Janice has placed her fair share of challenges, but she acknowledges that she hasn't always been open about her personal story and truths. So the COVID-19 pandemic afforded her a rare opportunity for introspection and self-discovery, is prompting her to engage in essential inner work that has reshaped her perspective and life's priorities. So in a family predominantly composed of males, where she is the sole female amidst males, Janice has a baby brother and two sons, and she embraces her unique role and identity as a beloved daughter. Through her dedication to education empowerment, Janice Rambert is on a mission to uplift and inspire women to embrace their true worth and live authentically. Ladies and gentlemen, let's be inspired by my friend here, Janice and Rambert. Hello, sister. How are
Hi.
you doing? Welcome back to Level Up with Naomi.
Hi,
So
Naomi.
honored. Thank you so much for gracing your presence. I mean, this stage again, once again. So honored to have you here.
Thank you for having me back. I actually have plans to travel, so this
I
is
know.
definitely one of those important plans, but I'm grateful to be a part of the conversation and the talk today. And I just want to
And
for allowing me to have this time with you as well and added value to your audience as well as anyone that is interested in the topic today.
yeah, I'm like, oh my gosh, she's so busy, but here we are. Thank you so much. I thought we were like, are we going to postpone this? But here we are. Here we are. Let's make it happen. Thank you so much, my friend. So first of all, I know we you have shared some interesting facts about yourself. Is there anything more interesting? You are such an interesting person. I'm always amazed by you. You always surprise me. Is there something else that you want to share to us before we start with discussions?
There's always things that I could share, but there's more to come. Let's just say that during the interview, maybe some things will spark our interest, and we'll discuss other added values that we have because there's always new tricks up our sleeves as women. We are not just one thing; we are many. So I
Yes.
believe that we have many titles and we do many different things. So
Yeah.
just in the box. And I think that is important that we always keep an open box.
Very true. Yeah. We wear different hats every day, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So can you share your personal journey and experiences in understanding and accepting your own body image and self-perception?
So I'll take you on like a little journey briefly about myself. I am a pescatarian, so I only eat fish. And I grew up eating everything known to man. I grew up eating it all. So I was a major red meat eater, and my favorite animal to eat is lamb. But at the age of
Mm.
17, me and my girlfriend, we went on this no meat or pork eating journey. Needless to say,
Wow.
she went back to eat red meat, but I never did. And so from the age of 17 on, and so we're talking about like a couple of decades, okay? Let's just say two, okay? But a little bit more maybe. I stopped eating red meat. And so when you take things out of your diet, it kind of shifts and changes you in some ways. And the main reason why I stopped eating it was because back then it was like a lot that was going on with the animals and different things was happening with the cow. There was like mad cow disease, all types of little crazy stuff that was happening. And so I stopped, but when I stopped eating a particular thing, it kind of changed my diet, my body type. Wasn't trying to lose weight, but I did lose a significant amount of pounds. And I grew up in an environment that everybody was considered big bone, and it was actually like my body weight morphed into, I guess, the size it should have been health wise on that chart that everybody struggles to fit in. And so I was down to like 155, 160. I met the required ideal weight. And as I embarked upon becoming a mom, with my firstborn, I gained 90 pounds. Now, mind you, I was eating chicken at that time. I was not a pescatarian, I was just eating chicken. But I put on 90 weight, so I was like 236 pounds. And so that by itself, now being pregnant is beautiful. Everybody's running around showing their belly, taking all these beautiful pictures. But when I
Mhm.
when I was pregnant, that wasn't the thing. It wasn't like, oh, everybody looked like they were in a wet plastic bag, you know, or they had some kind of like unusually big looking stretchy clothes that weren't really appealing. I didn't think that being pregnant was sexy, and of course nowadays they have all the works and the hiccups and the hangups to make anyone look sexy pregnant. But when I was, it was like, so needless to say, I gained the weight, but my mind shifted, because of the body image that I had. I never wanted to be big. I always was like battling with my weight and trying to maintain. I'm a little compulsive with my weight, because I didn't being overweight for me was always associated with sick. And so that was a little scary to me, you know? And so I kind of struggled. The pressure was on to get back down to my quote unquote pregnancy, my non pregnant weight after I had my firstborn and I gained 90 pounds. And most women don't gain 90 pounds. And it wasn't like I was eating everybody or everything, but I did gain a significant amount of weight. So,
Well,
mhm.
I can't imagine you having additional 90 pounds. I have always known you like, oh my God, this is like, wow. Like a wow, mama, wow. Like a
Yeah.
sexy mom.
Thank you for
You
that.
know
But
what?
no, it's
You
a
are
struggle.
right. Like when I was pregnant too, I'm like, I'm like, I feel like I'm always swollen. Like you have like, and then our clothes like in the maternity clothes, like the loose maternity dresses, and then the stretchy pants. Those are our uh what's that? Our attire when we were pregnant. Now they show. You're right. They show off the belly. I
They
don't know if
show
I
it. They show it. I mean, and it's a
yeah.
completely different generation, which to me I think is beautiful.
It
Don't get me
is.
wrong. I
It
think
is.
Demi Moore and all the you know famous people have caveat that appearance to make it look beautiful and acceptable. But it wasn't that sexy. not not when I was pregnant.
Yes.
It wasn't like, oh, you're bringing sexy back. Now it looks sexy and it's very acceptable. I mean, we're not talking about pregnant women, but we're just talking about the weight and how body image as moms, it was not always looked upon as this great little thing for me. I felt like it was an alien invasion in my body. I didn't really like being pregnant. So that was just my take on the pregnancy situation. I wasn't sick, kids was healthy, everybody was healthy. I didn't have any types of diabetes, gestation, no issues. I could eat whatever I wanted. You know, things was great. But I still felt like, is my body going to go back? Or am I going to be stuck like this? You know?
Right. Yeah. I don't. I think you somehow you answered my next question, but I still have. I wanted to ask you this: how does society and media influence our perception of beauty and body image? I'm like, how does society and media influence our perception of beauty and body image, and what can we do to challenge these influences?
So I would say this. I went to an all girls school and I
Mm.
was a tomboy. I really didn't care much about beauty or image because I was completely the opposite. I can remember the day when one of my classmates, we had like a show and tell type situation,
Mhm.
and she made me up. She fixed my hair. I had like a leisure curl. That was at the time when I had actual hair. Right now I'm rocking my bald. And she fixed my hair up and she did the makeup. And I mean, the class gave me a standing ovation. And the sister, in the class, she was just like, you need to keep up this look. But that wasn't my thing, you know? I didn't come into myself into an adult later on in life where I started kind of like wearing lipsticks and shades and still not really heavy on makeup, but it's fun to play around with. For me, I believe media gives unrealistic standards to what women should look like, what beauty looks like, what body image looks like, and it's not welcoming for all body images. Just recently, I think that now the full lips and the hips with the behind, because I was gonna say the A word, with the behind is more acceptable. But I would say a couple of years back, that wasn't the look. I remember being called different names for my hips, my buttocks, my glutes, I would say, on my full lips. Now we have people drawing extra
I
lines under
know.
their lips and getting fillers and getting
Yes.
BBDL or whatever how you say it, BBLs. And it, and I'm not saying anything against anybody that does these reconstructions of their body, but the image may be exasperated more so. I've seen women have gone to the extreme where wearing just your drawers walking down the street is socially acceptable, and
Yeah.
just wearing a pair like a bikini and a dress, a sheer dress is socially acceptable. Whereas I grew up where you're not to advertise everything you have. You want to actually let let someone know what the secrets are before they see everything. You know, there was something
Yeah, like
said about
just,
being
make them
honest.
curious what's in there.
Yes,
But now everybody shows everything. And social media, like in TikTok, and like I'm like, people not wearing bra or actually removing their bras in their videos, and like, oh, okay. And then also the like what you can see in in stores, right? Like, to enhance your butt, to enhance everything. I'm like, okay. And then you're right. Years ago, just few years ago, the in are like the thin lips, right? People with full lips like you and me, they want thinner lips, so they cover like the outer parts. Now they want fuller lips,
right.
and they draw
Right, they draw
outside
the
their
lines
lips.
around
Yes,
their mouth or they get the fillers. And I notice these things because I'm like, you look awfully odd to me with, it just is obvious. I can't help my eyes to be drawn to the exaggeratedness of the person who has this thing going on, and
yes,
it's not, like I said, the stereotype. I don't know when the full lips and the wide thighs with the big butt came in. I think the big butt has always been in, to be honest.
yeah,
I don't think it, quite as it's kept. I don't think that has ever left. I just think that they
yeah,
may have looked poorly at it at one point. But I mean, how could you not be a full woman without a big butt? Like, I mean, I'm sorry, I have not seen too many itsy bitsy tiny small women with nothing but a big butt. I've never seen that in my life until now because everyone is kind of like, you can do a million squats, but if you get your butt done, you can have the biggest butt in the world, you know? I mean, but
it's less,
the stereotypes with it is create this abnormal behavior. I mean, they have butt pads, they have all types of things where you can kind of like morph yourself into something else. And it's actually bizarre because I'm looking at people like, oh, is that, I remember going to a party the other day and I went to Afro Beats and this woman was wearing something very see-through and I admired her body and I gave her a compliment. I'm the type of woman where I'm going to praise whatever you have. If it looks good on you or and you're wearing nothing, hey, and you could do it. I'm very comfortable with saying, wow, I admire your physique. I don't have a problem with that. The guy then told me, oh, it's not real. I said, well, how can you tell? And he said, oh, it's the way it jiggles. It doesn't move naturally a certain way. Like these men,
oh,
professionals, when it comes to knowing if your items are not real on your body. And
mm,
another gentleman said, yeah, I like my woman with a little more jelly, a little more stuff on her, something to hold on to. Eh, It was
yeah,
it turned into a conversation. Now, mind you, I'm at a party, and the conversation started talking about the desire of what they want and how the fluff is. But I don't think women have those type of conversation about men because that's not
yes.
they're not running around trying to get their lips full or their butt full. You understand? Like they're not doing that.
The lashes too, right?
Right. Right. So
it's
we're struggling
It's so
here.
funny. There were posts like the Muppets, like the show, right? Predicted that we met. Yeah, I like in parties. Okay, once in a while, you get some lashes on, but every day, like, people go to have added lashes and things like that. I'm like, it's okay, like if it looks natural, but some like really are exaggerating it. Like, wow, okay,
And
I can't do
I
it.
mean, I don't, like I said, I don't think that it matters, but I think psychologically it starts wearing and playing a part because even the young lady that I mentioned and I had met, and I gave her a compliment, she couldn't receive it. And she admitted to having work done on her body, but she wanted more. And I think it becomes this body shame. It becomes this body addiction, even with the fitness, me being a fitness instructor. And at one point I was OCD with it, working 4 hours a day, working out. Like, I mean, that's all I wanted to do was just work out. I had to go to this, I had to go to this class, I had to run here. I mean, and it was my life. I was having so I thought it was fun, but I was consumed because I wanted to look a certain way. And don't get it wrong, being healthy there's nothing wrong with being healthy, but there's something wrong when it consumes you to the point where you're trying to get this body perfect. And there is never any perfection with the body, because as soon as you get one area to your liking, there's always going to be another area that is not. So,
Right. Actually, my next question is related to that. My next question is, how does body image impact mental health and overall well-being, and what steps can individuals take to improve their self-esteem and body image?
so before we go into that, I want to just say I looked up something on Google, and I really wanted to read this because it's
Yes,
estimated that
please.
30 million Americans have struggled with an eating disorder at some point over their lifetime. And the CEO of a national eating disorder association named Claire Meisel, that's what she said. And I said, 30 million, I don't even think the number is correct. Okay, I think everyone has had some kind of moment. And I think any woman that I have met has picked up a book or some kind of information about eat this, not that, did a South Beach diet or something to try to figure out how to stay healthy or stay fit or appear right. And I think that is important to say. The misconception is the perfectional, perfectionism of things,
Yes.
and us striving to be this perfect body. The mental health piece is being ignored, actually. I personally feel that a lot of times this external validation is always being seeked out, because you want the praise, you want to be acknowledged and looked upon as, hey, I'm working hard, look at me, I'm looking good, and getting the pat on the back. I remember when I did lose weight after my second child, because gained, I had another child, went back after the 90 pounds. I had
Mhm.
another child 8 years later, and I gained 56 pounds with him. So I was back to 256. Okay. So I was, I'm a eater. I'm not gonna lie to anybody, and I'm being pregnant is no reason to overeat, but I'm gonna eat anyway. And so I remember going in and just trying to make sure I get my health together and just try to get my life together. I lost a significant amount of weight. I got back down
Mhm.
to my healthy weight. And my neighbor came upstairs and she was all like, I need to have a real talk with you about something important. I'm thinking it's going to be something, an intervention for her. And she was all,
Yeah.
I believe that your collarbone is showing, and I'm concerned that you're losing too much weight. You're looking sick. And I was like, what? I thought this was like
Mhm.
a serious situation, but I could not see what was going on. And what she didn't know was at that particular time, I suffer from a condition called Graves' disease. It's a thyroid condition. So I've been diagnosed of having hyperthyroidism, which quite a few of the celebrities have had it. Wendy Williams, Oprah Winfrey, and George Bush Sr. and his wife and the dog at one point. But, and people that suffer with this condition, they battle with weight. Whether you
Yeah.
have hyper or hypo, your weight changes and shifts regardless of what you do. Okay.
Mhm.
And so even though you're on the medication, but it also affects your mind as well, your mental health issues with it. So I mean, with the body image and mental health, it collides. Your self-esteem is affected, you know, just how people perceive you. And there's a shame that goes with it, you know, and the lies that you may tell yourself when you're going through this process, because the I'm not good enough and trying to find the diet that works. I mean, I've done some diet. I think the hardest diet I ever did in my life was the South Beach diet. I had the book, and I don't know where I must have gave that book away, but I remember when I started the book, and of course, I partner with people, so accountability is always a
Mhm.
thing. And I remember partnering with a guy, and it was like no sugar, no carbs, no this. Everything was, I don't even remember, but it was like you couldn't even eat what you really like. It was just like protein, a
Okay.
vegetable. And I remember tasting sugar after I stripped that out of my diet altogether, all the fruits, everything. And I remember finally going back to eating sweets again, like just taking a piece of candy. I can literally feel the sugar going through my veins. Like I could feel like the invasion. Because when you remove something and you do a clean diet, you remove something out of
Yeah.
your diet and you put it back in, it's a literal shock to your system.
Yes.
So imagine how that is with the mental health piece. It's literally a shock because our brain works so much overtime, overload, and that influx thinking of what's going on and the lies and the things that you pour into your mind can really affect your mental health. You know, because if you're obsessing over TikTok and how this person's body look, you know, and the fear of judgment and, you know, not achieving this personal professional goal or image look can really crush your esteem big time. So
Yeah.
the mental health, it can go so many different ways, and you may not need to be diagnosed with there's something wrong with you, you know, but it does play a major role when it comes to body image.
Very true. And being obsessed of this perception of how you should be looking, and it gets you frustrated, it can actually lead to depression. So there are people out there that when they are not able to do that, they think of this sexy celebrities doing and they're doing the same thing, and they are not able to achieve that look. They can go on to depression. And
Mm.
it's very like in my nurse in me is coming out. It's very actually alarming to some, because they can hide in their room. They don't want to be uh, they don't want others to see them, and then indeed they can battle depression after that. On the other hand, some of the people as well can be self-consumed, like narcissists. Like they are so obsessed about themselves, looking perfect in every time. They cannot go out without looking perfect. So there's really an effect of in mental health when you think about this, if you become obsessed about it, right? But being inspired by these celebrities, there's nothing wrong with it, being inspired, um, and to enhance yourself. There's really nothing wrong about it. But being obsessed and about it, that's when we have problems, right? Like,
Well, you know, I want to say this. We all have problems, okay, including the celebrities.
true.
Okay, we look, ain't no one perfect in this world, and we don't need to fake the funk. The difference between us and the celebrities, I would say this, is that they have paid people to help them get it together. Not that it will be easier for them, because I know Beyonce had did not, and I love her. That's one of the stars I do love. Um, But she went on the diet, was eating the apple and the workouts that she had to do and the vigorous trainings that she had to do. But that's what she gets paid to do for a living. And she has
Yeah.
people to gear her up to do it. It's not easy, but she gets geared up to do it. We, the average people, we don't have people to pay us to do this. We either do it or we don't, right?
Yep.
Or we partner up with someone to help us gear up to do it. But the image of us and the killer of everything is the comparison. I'm never going to look like Beyonce because I was not built, made to look or be her. I was built and made to be me. And so, me lusting and desiring someone else's lips, butt, or body is not a realistic concept. Now, I can contort
Mhm.
my own body and I can contort my own image, but I have to respect my temple and who I am and who I was made to be. You understand? That that is really the conversation, is accepting yourself for who you are and not who someone else is, because I think the mirror is pointed the wrong way.
That's true. That's actually our point here. Well, anyway, before we proceed, thank you so much for those who are watching us live. I think we got somebody from the Philippines. Hi, Ace. How are
Mhm.
you? It's Sunday morning there. So
Sunday
yeah,
morning. Good morning.
blessed Sunday morning. So have a blessed Sunday morning to you, Ace. And then we have we got people watching from Tennessee. Hi, Barb. How are you? And then Olive from California. Thank you so much for watching. There's Tim also. Hi, thank you so much for watching. And for those others that I can see the names, thank you so much for watching. Yeah, that is very true. So let's shift the conversation. So what role so how can we support and empower individuals, especially young people, in developing a positive body image and perception?
So for me, if I was talking to my younger self, and I have younger people around me, promoting media literacy is important, and portraying the right literature about beauty standards and body image to our youth. Because I have even now seen younger children, male, not just females, but they want to have six packs. I've never
I
seen this in
know.
my life. Males,
Even
now,
kids.
even male children want to have six packs, or they look and they'll be like, with their shirt off, and they're working really hard because they want this image. And mind you, now see, people don't talk about that, but men do get their stomach fixed to get those fake abs. Okay. So that's not something that's not spoken about, but it's not really spoken about the way it is with the women, and no one's talking about the botched up jobs and the issues with that. But encouraging that self compassion also is really good, just knowing that you have to accept you for who you are and allow your body to develop and grow, because every 10 years, being in this world, every 10 years, something changes in the body. You cannot expect your body to be what it was at 20 when you're 30. And when you're 40, don't expect you to be like you was when you're 30, because things start happening in your body that you don't know is happening, but it happens. You only can get better with time, but you give yourself grace. And so, as a person developing grows, they got to understand they have to give their self that grace and time to accept where you are at that moment in time. I'm not going to be able to run the way, the running for the bus. As I've live in New York City, I don't really try to run for the bus. I used to, like, I would do a sprint to catch the bus. Now I kind of do a light jog, because of concrete is a situation here. And I'm not trying to mess up my knees, because the impact on the knees while you're running up and down or in the street is deadly. So I'm derailing. I digress. But having positive role models is also important. I think that the youth need to be able to look up to someone that is realistic and have healthy type of conversation, be diverse and respect, have intellectual, sensitive, kind conversations that would make sense to our youth. Having that open communication is really important for the development in a safe place without judgment. You know, healthy lifestyle choices. I find that, you know, you eating whatever you want is not realistic. I grew up in a household where you eat whatever's on your plate and you eat it all. You never leave anything off of it. And I thought corn was a vegetable. It wasn't until I got older that I realized corn was a starch. There's certain things and certain concepts that I just didn't know. Beans is protein and carbs, and so there is a misconception that everything and anything can go on the plate and everything is good for you because everybody's body is different and it digests things differently. So it's important to kind of have a healthy understanding as to what you're consuming, how much you can consume, what you need to be doing, your activity level for your body type, your age, and what is expected of you when it comes to drinking water. Okay. Because I think people thinking I got to have every single thing with a taste in my mouth is a disillusion, or having every salt, every sugar, every whatever, oh, you're young, you can eat whatever. you know, I think the misconception is you have to start young so then you can develop early to be on a better path than to start late and or wait to the doctor to say, here, take all of these pills so you can eat everything you want to eat.
That's very true. We really have to start young. Not starting young to add to wanting to have six packs, but starting young. Start young to have like a healthy lifestyle already, right? Like I was told when I was younger, I would eat anything too because I don't gain weight. But now as you grow older, you're right. Every 10 years, there's some changes in your body, your metabolism is not the same and things like that. And then you when you look at your loves, it's you have to be mindful of what you eat, right? So developing that habit
Right.
start at a young age, so supposedly. But the good thing is, we know social media can affect, like influence us negatively, but there's a lot of positive things in social media too, like this conversation, right? And then there are other things there that helps you become healthy as well. So let's talk about self-care. So what role does self-care play in cultivating a healthy body image? Can you provide examples of effective self-care practices?
So I think some really healthy practices of self-care and to just be really plain honest is just making sure that you listen to your body and take care of yourself. But you have to exercise. We did mention that we have to exercise. That's never going to go away. Gym has always been a part of anyone's culture, anyone's life, PE, gym, whatever. So you need an activity. I know when we were all locked away in COVID and then people gained their COVID weight or whatever, I didn't gain any weight. I had a routine, I had a regimen, I was dancing. One of my friends was doing Zooms on, a whole fitness class in the house. It was great. Like I had salsa dancing. I was eating better. They had eating competitions. Like you wanted to just make sure that you didn't kill yourself with a meal, right? So self-care is making sure that you take care of yourself. And I feel like that part is missing with our culture, you know, um, and just being kind to yourself, loving on yourself with just good saying, good affirmation, just looking at what you have. Because guess what? When I was 19, I was complaining. I had no kids, But I was complaining about the little tiny pouch that I had on my stomach. Like literally, you could push it off of me if you wanted to. But I was complaining about it. But when I became after the kids, right? So after 30, I was all like the pouch was no longer a pouch. It was kind of like a bulger. It was something else happening. And I was all like, I found a picture of myself when I was 19 and I was all like, what was wrong with me? Because it's what you put in here. And
Yes.
sometimes, it's those conversations that we have in our head that is louder than what is actually being happen in reality. Our mind does play tricks on us. There used to be a song back in the days, I forgot the name of it that fast, but it used to be the song was My Mind is Playing Tricks on Me. And it was funny because it was
Yeah, I remember that.
right, it
Yeah.
was like a Halloween type
Mhm.
situation or whatever they, one of the parts. But this is how reality happens every day when we're walking down the street or when we put something on that, may be out of style, out of date. And I think I'm guilty for it. Like I would save clothes because I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get back into them. Or I'm gonna get rid of that, or I may not get rid of it because I may gain a couple of pounds and I may need to put it back on. So I will have like a range of sizes in my closet, you know, being able to release myself of the expectations of stuff is important too because I think sometimes not setting realistic bars in our life, not being present to the here and now, and consuming stuff that you may not need in the future. So this is all like little habits of self-care, healthy
Yeah.
eating habits, you know. Y- Look, the social media, it has its pros and cons. Not everything that is green has to be nasty. And not everything that is healthy is good tasting, but there is a mixture and it's okay to try some things. Like I remember a lot of people were drinking this green grass thing at one point. Like they were just taking shots of green grass or whatever. Then I read up on it, how toxic it could be you drinking this green grass because they have all the
Yeah.
benefits and all these healthy elements to it or whatever.
Yeah.
There was no healthy elements to, well, per se for me, and it tastes disgusting. I taste it. So actually knowing what is healthy habits are, and reducing your stress because life is stressful. Okay, as long as you live life, you are going to have some stress, some problems, some concerns. And so finding ways to meditate, to breathe, because I think a lot of times when we're stressed, I know for me, I go run to the kitchen to find what I could eat. And so that's why I kind of keep fruits and healthy type snacks in the house. No chocolate, no ice cream. I have no discipline. So I already know if I have some Ben and Jerry's or somebody up in here, I'm gonna try to eat the whole thing. So that will not be in my house, okay? Ever. It can't be because I get a little high strung and I'm like, oh, I need something. The stress will turn you. And so you have to be aware of what you need to eat and what you need not to, or what you can't be around when you feel in some kind of inner way.
That's true though. I have a little kid and we get ice cream. So when I'm like stressed, I'm like, I want some ice cream.
Right.
Right. And you know what? While you were saying like the sizes, I remember a friend of mine said, you your clothes should not adjust to you. You should adjust to your clothes.
Yeah, that sounds good. But when you're trying to save money, time, and energy, and you don't want, you also, I think a small secret, women tend to use their clothes to measure themselves. So
True.
um, if our favorite pants is not fitting the right way, then we're like, oh, I gotta lose some weight because this ain't gonna happen. This isn't going down, and we go on this no carb diet or whatever. So, I mean, the image and the concept still is there because I think it is embedded in us. It's culturally embedded, it's
It
society
is.
embedded. I don't think in other parts of the world, not as much as the United States, that they're overwhelmingly obsessed the way I want to say we are, so to speak. But I do know people do, they have their own stuff all over the world. But I'm just saying that from where I'm sitting right here, I'm only going to speak for the great United States. I'm not going to talk about anybody else's culture, but I definitely do know body image is everywhere. Okay.
Yeah. So how can friends, family, and communities be supportive in helping someone struggling with body image? So what are some red flags to look for?
So, just paying attention to people with body image, speaking to a therapist, having that guidance counselor, even a support group. The red flags to body image is very covert and it's subtle, but you can see it if you're close to the person. You know what I mean? It's really a quiet storm happening before it actually comes about, but you can tell when the person's conversation or their posture is overwhelmingly surrounded by that particular topic, where they're constantly poking at themselves, they're constantly, is a negativity. It's almost like they're beating themselves up about their body, about their image, and there's no positivity in it, and this is little subtle traits that things happen when the person is going through something, because they'll tell on themselves before you can even say anything. You may not even notice, but they're picking themselves apart, you know, and yet and still they want to run and eat the worst thing. You're with them, but yet they're complaining about everything, about their appearance, way they look, about what they're eating, but they're not making any provision. So it's almost a contradictory. And if you pay attention to some of the behaviors, you can kind of see, that there's something going on. You can see the pain because the behavior and how they conduct themselves and what's going on with them, they will kind of tell you, in subtle ways, but it's very subtle. And, just offering some books, some resources, some information, is very helpful. I did search up a few books, and it was The Beauty Myth by Naomi Wolf, uh, Body Positive Power by Megan Krabby, and The Body Is Not an Apology by Sonia Taylor. Those are some of the books that I had looked at and was advocating for the radical self-love and body positivity, because I think, reading is helpful. And some of these, like I said before, you can find some of these books at the library, which is free, or on YouTube, somebody drops it in as a free audible and you're listening to it. So it's really important for us to kind of fill our mind with some positive voices to kind of counteract some of the negative stuff, you know, and watch what you're looking at, because I think that obsession with appearance and, looking at other people, and check yourself out, of that mindset. Go to the doctor. Let's talk about it. Go to a nutritionist, a registered nutritionist, a dietitian. But you also have to be very careful with that as well, because, twofold. I've gone to a dietitian, and he was just giving people medication, diet medication, you know,
Oh,
from within his office. No side effect information, no nothing, just here, take this pill. And these people, insurance will cover it, and it was free and easy to take. I asked for, what is this information that you're giving these people? And he was like, oh yeah, it's safe, it's good. But when I looked it up, it creates issues on your liver and your kidneys, and but you had to do your research, and he was just pushing out medication because these people wanted to suppress their appetite, they wanted to stop eating, but they wanted to lose the weight. And so meanwhile, you're going to be thin, but you're going to be on dialysis for the rest of your life. You
I
know,
guess.
now
Well,
what would that serve? And
as
your
much
and
as
your
we
health,
want more patients, we don't want that to happen.
right? But you're going to a registered nutritionist, right?
Mm.
And you're going to seek someone to help you, so you think, yet they're giving you medication to suppress your appetite, but they're killing your kidneys.
That's good. Yeah, we need to do some research. But they go to that person because the certification, the license is giving them authority. So they're authority in that. But must do our own research too.
Mhm.
You mentioned about culture earlier. So, are there any cultural or societal factors that significantly impact body image and self-perception? And how can we promote understanding and acceptance across different cultural backgrounds?
So culture is a tricky thing. I'm gonna kind of like pick your brain a little bit. I mean, we're two different cultures here, right? So I mean, let us switch roles for a quick second here situation, because I know I've been doing a lot of the talking, but I want your perspective, from your standpoint, your culture, you're Filipino. Um, you know, what is the background and what does it flip and look like when it comes to your culture? Because I do know people of color, we all have a role in appearance, and I want to hear from your perspective how this image plays a role.
That's I in all honesty, the sad thing is that in our culture, beauty is always associated with a slim, a slender Coca-Cola body, things like that. Body, um, physique. If you are like, if you gain some weight, you are like, it's just now that people are starting to accept that. But there's always a but. I'm like, like she could have done better, she could have exercised and things like that. So people are like becoming obsessed somehow. But we do love our rice, and rice is a very 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 big factor with us. Like when we were young, when you are young, um it's okay, I can eat more than one cup of rice, things like that. But as you grow older, your metabolism is different. But then the concept and the perception of a beautiful lady, most especially, did not change up to now.
Mm,
Like, so that's the sad reality. So people would do their best, and then people who are with bigger physique, bigger size, would always have this insecurity. It is better now that somehow social media influencers would inculcate to others that that is not the true beauty. That beauty is in the eye of the beholder, indeed. That beauty, your beauty, being beautiful does not mean having 36, 24, 34, 36. Yeah, like the people would be like, what's the size, what's the is it extra small, is it small, or is it medium or large, extra large? So yeah, so sadly there is culture really affects that. The nice thing though in our culture too, we don't gain much until when we are young. But when you get when you get older, then I'm like, they would ask, I'm like, you eat rice from morning to night, but you look like that. Right? But
right.
sadly, but really sadly, there are like the society. still is saying that beautiful is having that 24, 34, 24, 34 um size, right? The small one. So the as for me, really self perception, um self perception should not start from what others are telling you. It should actually start from you. I'm like, what does beauty means to me? Is it having that Coca-Cola body or 1 liter Coke milk? Just kidding. That beautiful curve, and small tummy, or is it, you know, is it your attitude? Is it how you wake up in the morning smiling, giving positive aura to the people around you? And I'm like, so how, I'm like, is it important? What is important to you, having that look or having the attitude that would be remembered even if your size becomes bigger, right? How would you want people to remember you, having that curve, or having that great attitude that's always radiating positivity and to others, right? So I think self perception always starts in your mind. And so, and how would you like others to remember you?
I agree.
Yes.
I agree because beauty deteriorates after, well, I wouldn't say that your appearance may change, in life, but if you are an ugly person inside, what difference does it make what you look outside? And so that's a reality. And I think that when you realize that there's this shell that we have on us, it's going to change over time. I am not seven.
Mhm.
My culture, we eat everything. We eat everything. I'm a rice person. I
Yeah.
actually was eating rice earlier and I was like, okay, Janice, how is this rice serving you? I have to give myself those kind of conversations because I like rice. I'm like you. I'm not your culture, but I'm a rice eater. So I could eat rice all day, every day. And I made some rice earlier. And I was not like, Janice, you're going to another country that like rice too. You cannot be eating all this rice. What are you gonna do? But the thing of it is that I said to myself, it's okay for you to have some. I don't have to eat the whole bag.
Yes.
That's the issue. So I think for me, a lot of times is moderation, portion control, and say,
Yes.
okay, that's enough. No one said you can't eat the rice, but you can't have the whole bag. You can't eat the whole box today. And I think that's where we're talking about healthy habits. Because I think as a child, we didn't have to work and sit still. We could run, we could do whatever we want. Our metabolism was working fine, fast, and whatever. And as you get older, like I said, things change. You said the same thing, we change. But it should not be about, you know, this fakeness, because I think all of it is fake at the end of the day.
Mhm.
Love me for who I am, not the size of my waist. And I think that's important because if
Yes.
you only love me because my lips are full and my waist is small and my 36, 38, 34, whatever shape, I don't think I want you in my life because that's a
Yes.
superficial relationship. That is someone that does not mean me well because as soon as I don't look the part, that means you'll leave me.
You're, yes, very true. It is true though that, usually people are attracted to you, to how you look first, right?
Yeah.
But but the after that first impression of the physical look, they go deeper, they go deeper, they look at you, your personality and things like that, and that's how it should be. I know our society these days are like, you said fake, right? We're looking at fake people now. I'm like, you don't even know which one is real, right? um but um but self perception, as I've said earlier, starts within you. What would you like them to see in you? Because people see beyond the physical appearance of a person, right? So Janice, what's your opinion? What are the key strategies and initiatives that should be implemented on a larger scale to promote a healthier image to the society?
I think that we need to have more classes about that. I think we should have a conversation about that. And I think those conversations are happening, but I think there should be courses in the elementary school and high school really kind of gearing children up to the reality, because I think they're inundated by the false image of superficial behavior. And so,
Mhm.
and I also think that maybe some parents need to buy into that. Some adults need to buy into that, because that's not realistic. You know, I'm one of those people where I love love stories. I love love. Like, I like watching people be in love and be in relationships. But being in healthy relationship is what attracts me, not the Jerry Springer lifestyle. So if you constantly looking at some negative connotation of what, oh wow, how, oh, you're mocking someone who got this uh body image and they went overboard, because we've all seen these women that have the 12-inch waist, and then they have this 70-inch size behind, and you're like, whoa, it's hard not to see this image that looks a little bizarre. And so, knowing that that's not a realistic image, knowing that we're not all going to have the same body, and that we're not going to all measure up to the same thing that we may be looking at, but we have to understand and accept ourselves for who we are and what we are capable of being and doing in our life. And so it's an individual type conversation. It's an acceptance. And so I think it may need to really start at home, and having those home conversations with the people that you love, and having that type of conversation around the table, on the drive, on the way to walk and talk, and buying into it. Because if you don't love yourself for who you are, it's going to take a long time for you to understand this journey called life. Okay. And
Yes.
that's just a real conversation. People are not going to always, they're not going to always like you, and they may not respect you, but you need to like and love and respect yourself. And that's an inside job.
Very true, very true. Love, self love. I just believe, and I always share this, that if you to be able to love someone and to be able to respect others, you must start to love yourself first and respect yourself to be able to give that to others, right? Because it should always start with you, because you don't want, so the golden rule, right? You want to treat others how they want to treat you, and then so the same way, treat yourself the way others you would want others to treat you, and treat them the way you want them to treat you. Oh my god,
No, no,
i'm
no.
i'm
I
my
you
lips are
you're
like blah,
fine.
blah now. I'm like,
You're
"Woo."
fine.
But anyway, thank you so much. This is really a very good topic. We might have part two.
We may. I don't look. Hopefully, I don't gain 100 pounds going to, but I'll monitor myself, because realistically, I think it's not so much about the image, it's about being healthy. And I think that the concept is, if I look a certain way, then I'm healthy. And that is the lie. That's the myth. because there are skinny healthy and there's skinny non-healthy, and there is fat healthy and fat not healthy.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a difference, because I've met overweight people who is overweight, but they have no medical issues whatsoever. And I've
Yeah.
met thin people who have the whole medical the medical pharmacy in their back pocket. So,
True.
this image, this concept, it has to really stop. And it's getting worse, because I'm telling you, I don't watch television for that main reason. Because I don't want to know who's wearing what. And I don't really care, because I know what I got on. To be honest, that's just what I'm saying. That's my truth.
True, true. And I admire you for that, for that. Anyway, so any other last tips for before we say bye for now? Any tips for those who are around you and how you could develop this self love?
So, what I want to start, because normally in the fall I go on to a new inventory. I start doing gratitude walks. I start seeing, because this is a holiday. So this is where the winter comes in. This is the candy holiday, right? So we're creeping up to the whole eat as much as you can. We have the candy holiday, then we have the whole stuffing, the yams, the turkey, the chicken, the whatever. So every month,
Yes.
up until January, because you go on this binge, we start hibernating time, right? So this is the time where we really need to watch what we're doing, and not wait until January to say, oh, I'm going to do the
New
resolution
Year's resolution.
to, lose my 50 pounds or whatever. No, 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 no. Let's be realistic. Because we look, I've done that. I've had my own resolution. And I always have a resolution. There's nothing wrong with a resolution, but you can start that right now.
Yes.
You don't have to wait until January 1, 2024, or whatever. You can start now. You can start moving some things off the plate. You don't have to eat the whole bag of Twix or candy or popcorn or whatever. Just start the process now, because the habit begins with you, and replace it with a better habit. So you can't just remove the habit, you got to replace it. And so if you don't want to eat the rice, then you have something else. Start figuring out what you can substitute. Start figuring out what you can do more of physically before you get to January.
Yes.
And I would say, collectively have an accountability partner. Collectively have somebody that will hold you accountable, have the same desired results as you, and will walk with you to help you be better with you. Because I think us together improves our lives. I can't do anything if I didn't have you, Naomi. You know, you are the streamliner of this communicator. I do not like going live. I do not.
That's
But
why we're doing this.
but I think by us doing it together, it makes it
Yes.
easier. And I think that's what makes this world work, because Beyonce has a team of people, and so does everyone else. You can't live this life by yourself.
Yep. Yep. So, thank you so much, my sister. I know this will not be the last episode we will do together. And thank you so much for your wonderful, wonderful, great tips all the time and for inspiring us. Now I have to go back to my exercises as well.
You
And
look fine.
watch my rice.
Yes.
But thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate you. Love you so much. And to everyone out there, self-perception and self-love actually doesn't you don't need others to tell you how to love yourself. You must start it from within you. When you wake up each morning, you look at the mirror and tell yourself, you are beautiful because you are, right? You are beautiful. God made you beautiful. And when you tell yourself this every day when you wake up, this is how people will see you. No matter how you look like, no matter what size you are, this is how you perceive yourself, and this is others will perceive you. But also, loving yourself means you have to take care of yourself as well. So let's not set that aside, okay? Thank you so much. God bless everyone. And till next time, bye. Love you, sister.